But what you should be aware of is that a lot of the nitty-gritty details, numbers of credits, and what course requirements are and things like that are all available in the material. So chances are we won't spend a lot of time on that. It's mostly about the type of work that each clinic does and the kind of work that we expect from you. In addition, one of the other things that's getting sent around and which is plastered all over the law school is a schedule of small group meetings for the individual clinics. Some of the group meetings are 2 clinics together, but today we're just going to give you a brief presentation and at the end ask for general questions as opposed to your particular personal situation or as opposed to questions, minute questions about individual clinics. We would suggest that you find the information out about the particular programs by attending the small group session. Also, any faculty member can be telephoned or emailed if you have a question that addresses a particular circumstance of your own. Keep your eye out on the schedule. Between now and next week when applications are due, there are going to be a bunch of meetings. Just make sure that if there are any, there was already one change of time for one of the meetings, so keep your eyes open in case there are some others. Again, what you essentially need are the materials, the application form, and the schedule of events. Let me take one sec to orient you to what we're talking about now. This is a little bit, particularly for many of you who are first-year students, a little bit like going to the bakery and trying to decide which confection to take. And the answer is really, you don't have to choose today, and nor do you have to choose one and only one. You have lots of options throughout law school to participate in the clinical programs, and there are a huge number of programs available. In a case of really great timing, U.S. News and World Report, which of course none of us really pay any attention to, and we all think it's an invalid study, happened to get it right in one case. We were ranked among the top 20 law schools for clinical programs in the country. So, it'd be nice to be in the top 3, but in the top 20 ain't bad. In fact, we were 16, tied with Harvard. So we have something to brag about. And part of what you see today is the tremendous enthusiasm of all of you for our clinical programs, and you'll hear about how wonderful our programs are and how there's probably something for everyone, and there's even new stuff happening that you'll hear about. There are basically 3 types of programs that we have, and then I'm just going to go into this quickly, and then we'll turn the floor over to individuals. In-house, just to get the terminology, in-house clinics are clinics which are sponsored by the law school. They're taught by faculty, full-time faculty at the law school, or alternatively, a few people who don't work here full-time, but whose sole responsibility in life is to teaching our students as opposed to some other job somewhere else. The in-house clinics are a model by which the students take on responsibility for working on the case. Obviously, they're going to be highly supervised, but generally speaking, our goal is to get you to be the lawyers on the case. That contrasts to what we call externships, which you may have experienced in other contexts as internships, where you work at a law office, a judge's chamber, some sort of agency, and you're basically working for a lawyer who defines the tasks for you and assigns things to you and gives you a range of responsibilities, but basically you're that person's assistant as opposed to the in-house clinic model. We do have a couple of programs that are kind of in the middle where you'll be working out of the law school. For example, in the mediation clinic, you would be working at mediation centers, and the person who is going to be teaching you there is not a full-time member of the faculty, but we have a special contractual arrangement with her so that she basically is not just simply a lawyer working for a law firm or an agency, but she has a commitment to make sure that Brooklyn Law School students get a good experience. So we have a few of those kinds of programs, some of which you'll hear about today. But those are basically the 3 models. And in each of those models, however, it's about learning as lawyers as opposed to learning as sitting in a classroom as a passive recipient of knowledge. You're going to be engaged in and interactively involved in your own education. So let me now turn over to people. Some people have timing issues and want to tell people have classes that they're not starting. So I'm going to start in no particular order, except with Professor Hopkins, whose students are waiting for her upstairs. And Professor Stevens, who teaches with Professor Coxey, can talk about the social distance. Well, I'll get more.
Okay, the Federal Litigation Clinic is a year-long program. 6 credits per semester, 12 credits altogether. So, as you might imagine, it is a very intense in-house clinic. As Professor Kaplow said, we really do try very much to follow the model of making you louder. Making you the lawyers on these cases. And these are all cases in federal court, primarily cases, civil rights type cases, employment discrimination, race, sex, disability, age. We have now the police brutality case, we have a Family and Medical Leave Act case, we've had environmental cases, somewhat of a range, but primarily clients who cannot find representation from private counsel. In the clinic, you will be doing mostly pretrial litigation tasks, discovery, taking depositions, drafting interrogatories, reviewing documents, appearing in court for status conferences, occasionally motion arguments, substantial negotiation with opposing counsel. Obviously, there's a lot of work for us and for you to get you prepared to do these things. We are looking for students who can make the time commitment. Jamie will talk to you about social justice.
The Social Justice Project is a piece of the Federal Litigation Clinic. The primary difference is that in the Social Justice Project, we're in almost every case representing plaintiffs in class actions. That's really the reason for the existence of the Social Justice Project. So in each case, we're representing hundreds or thousands, or in some cases, hundreds of thousands of people. And their cases, for example, we've just settled a case against the New York City Housing Authority on behalf of everybody who either lives in or was an applicant for housing in the New York City Housing Authority, had a mobility impairment and wasn't able to take full advantage of their apartments because they used wheelchairs and the apartments were not accessible. So we sued on behalf of all those people. Over 8,000 people have had accommodations made for them. We sent notices were sent to 180,000 people. That's the kind of scope of these cases. In many of these cases, we have co-counsel from other public interest offices around the city. So I see part of my goal as being not only helping you learn how to be lawyers, but trying to encourage a commitment to public interest law. And people who have any previously existing interest in public interest law is a great opportunity for networking because we're working with people from a lot of the public interest offices around the city. In these cases, you're not given the full responsibility for cases the way you are in the individual cases, because I feel like when you're a second-year student, maybe being fully responsible for 300,000 people is a little much. So we work together as a team collaboratively. You get to be a full member of the team if you're willing to make that commitment. So it's similar in the sense that we're expecting somewhere between 12 and 16 hours a week commitment. That varies. Some weeks, the practice of law is a very cyclical thing. What you're going to be learning here is what it's like to be practicing law in a law office in both parts of the Federal Litigation Clinic and in many of these clinics. So some weeks it requires less time than that, but you have to be prepared to give the time it takes to actually be there to take depositions and participate in depositions and go to court and be involved with clients and care about and do research on those issues. So it is a significant commitment. We're still looking for people who are interested in doing it over the summer. Over the summer, the clinic can be taken either for credit or as a work-study program if you're eligible for work-study credit. And you get to do essentially that whole range of things. So we're interested in people who would like to do that. And I spoke to someone who might be in this room who was an evening student and was asking about it, and I was kind of discouraging, and I've been thinking it over. So if you're here, you should call me again. And if they're not here, maybe somebody will give you the message and say no about it. We have these two meetings, FedLit and the Social Justice Project together. These meetings are free compulsory, so you can watch the walls and the bulletins for the meeting. And we then do interviews for people for this clinic, because really what we're looking for is people who are really interested in making the commitment. That's the biggest thing. So I'm happy to answer other questions.
John, you want to? Okay.
My name is John Copen. I'm speaking on behalf of Debbie Bechtel for the Corporate and Real Estate Clinic. Now, she couldn't be here today, but I took the clinic and I also worked for her over the summer, so I'm pretty familiar with it. I thought I would start out by giving you a background of the clinic and then break down the structure of the clinic and then give you an example of some of the things that you would be involved in with the Corporate and Real Estate Clinic. The clinic has been in existence here for 4 years. Debbie Bechtel has conducted for those 4 years. She herself has been involved in real estate and community matters for maybe 20 years in New York City, so she's well versed on the law here. The clinic itself basically combines the principles of New York State corporate law and New York State real property law, basically dealing in issues involving real estate concerns of business corporations, both for-profit and not-for-profit. That's a little bit of the background of the clinic. The structure of the clinic is a 4-credit, 1-semester clinic. There's 2 credits for work-based with the client, 2 credits for a weekly seminar. In working with clients, you'll be expected to deal about 10 hours in client work. There will be time in that period of time to deal with Professor Bechtel on a one-on-one basis to get instruction and to get guidance and direction. There usually is teams of 2, so you work together with another partner, and you usually deal with between 2 and 5 issues over the semester. Now, in terms of the types of matters, it was really very, very good. You learn, although you do deal basically with low-income and not-for-profit corporations and real estate matters involving those areas, you still deal with, you draft contracts, you draft commercial leases. You can, depending on what team that you're on. In terms of corporate law, draw articles of incorporation, bylaws, deal with getting your corporation a tax exempt status. Deal with contractors, deal with architects, drawing up executory contracts of sale, performing closings, and then basically an example. I worked on a project where we had a homesteader group, and they wanted to purchase a building. Basically, it was like a dilapidated building from the city of New York, and in order to do that, we had to incorporate them as an HDFC, basically a not-for-profit corporation. So we drew up their articles of incorporation, their bylaws, and we helped them structure their board of directors. And then once they were incorporated, we were able to proceed with HPD, Housing Preservation, the Department of Housing and Preservation, who acted for the city, the entity of the city that was selling the property. We negotiated the executory contract with their lawyers. We negotiated the architectural contract with the architect that was going to build the building. We dealt with the Department of Buildings to get the plans approved. We actually negotiated with the general contractor the actual general contract, and we negotiated the financing with the lending institution. So we got every point of both basic corporate law and basic real estate practice. So that's an example of what you might be doing. There are also many closings that you would be involved with also. So that's basically the corporate real estate.
Sure.
Where should I stand?
over here, front line. Before you get started, there are a bunch of seats down here, there's some over here, so feel free to come down front.
Hello, I'm Olga Perez, the director of the Elder Law Clinic. Our clinic is mainly a litigation clinic as opposed to the one that you just heard about, which is transactional clinic. Our office offers legal representation to elderly people, that is, people who are 60 years and older. It is individual representation, so you get the chance to have a real-life client. Mostly, you also get the chance to work on litigation cases from beginning to end, from the stage of the interview, factual investigation, legal research, drafting of pleadings, and what I know is very important to many of you, court appearances. We conduct most of our practice in administrative agencies and before state courts. We have a very active motion practice, so often students get to argue motions in the administrative hearings or during trials. You conduct a part of the trial with the attorney. Of course, not everybody, I can promise, has the opportunity to do that, but the chance is certainly there. The substantive areas of law are a myth. Don't think of the clinic either as the place to go only if you're interested in elder law practice, because we deal with many issues that are typically affecting the elderly, like Social Security cases, medical, health issues, health benefits, and that includes the right to home care so that people don't get forced to go into nursing homes. But there are also a lot of problems that people over 60 have that the general community has, the general population, such as family problems, the right to visit, the right of visitation of grandchildren, consumer problems. A lot of problems with dentures or claims against dentists is one of the things that most often comes up. And during the course of that, you get to practice general skills. So again, don't think of it as the clinic only if you are interested in elder law. I will note to those interested in elder law that what we do not have is a practice in trust and estate, because we represent low-income elderly. That doesn't come up. Many other issues dealing with the elderly, including wills and health proxies, and health proxies do include a large part of our practice. Let me give you a couple of examples of cases we've had in proving age in order to show that the person is eligible for Social Security. We've had cases of Holocaust victims that come into the country and give a different age than is their age when they come in. It comes to haunt them when they're trying to show that they're over 65. We have to be creative in digging documents and coming up with evidence to show that the person is entitled to the benefit. We also have a very active landlord-tenant practice. Many of our cases are evictions, and some of our cases deal with fair housing. An example is a wheelchair-bound disabled elderly who used to sit on the lobby in his building and was told he couldn't do that it disturbed the no mobile tenants in the building, against the law. So we have a large variety of cases. With respect to the logistics in the office, we are 3 supervising attorneys. You get to do everything that an attorney does, all the tasks, as I said, but with very close supervision. It is a 1-year clinic. If you take the fall, you have to take the spring. By the way, we have placements, we have openings for the summer. If you take the summer, you have to take the fall again because it is a 2-semester clinic. During the regular semesters, fall and spring, it is a 12-hour commitment, which translates to 1 full day and 1 morning, not consecutive. During the summer, it is 3 days, 24 hours, again, not consecutive, so 3 8-hour days is what we require. We cannot offer flex time. You've already heard legal work is cyclical. There are times when you will get a crunch, even if you only have 2 cases. You